It is the world's largest and most prestigious motorcycle auction, and oh yeah, it is the largest, most prestigious motorcycle auction in the world. And this year, unfortunately, it's closed to the public, but don't fret because we've got your back. We've got your VIP pass to everything you need to see. Mecum 2021, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend is here. How are you doing, sir?
I'm cycle dragging. That's what I'm doing. Cycle dragging forever and ever and ever.
You are the man. Sweep the leg, right?
Sweep the leg, no mercy, and cycle dragging.
I love it. Let's go racing. Wait a minute. Let's go motorcycle hunting. Hello, everybody. Cycle Drag Universe. Man, we have a good one for you here today. We are at the largest motorcycle auction in the world. This is the Mecum Motorcycle Auction from Sin City in Las Vegas, Nevada. Over 1,700 motorcycles, over 13 astounding collections. Sit back, relax, because you know we're on the quest to bring you the best, the most impressive motorcycles we can find, and we're gonna do that here. Now, as you can see, this year, we're still at the tail end of this pandemic, so they have protocols in place. NBC Sports is not here. They're usually here, but fear not. We're gonna take care of you. We got you covered. We're gonna check out some of the most awesome vintage street bikes, dirt bikes, drag bikes we can possibly find. And if you've ever had one of these, if you've ever ridden one of these, if you have any stories, put it down below. Join us in the comments. I love the stories, and make sure you share this with a motorcycle friend. Without further ado, I say, let's get to work. We've got a lot to see. If you guys have been with us the last few years, you know normally this auction happens at South Point Casino. This year it's at the Las Vegas Convention Center. So far, I actually like it better because it's so open. You can see where the bidding takes place and all the motorcycles at the same time. That wasn't the case in South Point. You had to kind of go back in some hallways and the rooms were segregated. But here, everything out in the open. And I'll tell you, this vintage motorcycle market just continues to increase. It continues to be on fire, and it's kind of a dirty secret for a lot of us, a little bit of a detriment, because we used to feel bad about buying motorcycles. Now some of you can tell your wife, hey, yeah, I know I bought 4 bikes, honey. It's just like buying mutual funds. They're gonna go up. In many cases, that's true. Well, I wanna show you some of the top dogs right when you come in, but check this out. Before we go any further, yes, that's a 1999 Suzuki Hayabusa. It has already become collectible, and the Busa is still out. The Gen 3 is coming out, but there is a vintage, can I say vintage? Not really vintage, but soon to be antique. 25 years is antique. 1999 Suzuki Hayabusa, what a run. Here it is, guys, the motorcycle that started the craze for Suzuki, that changed motorcycle drag racing. If you watch this channel, you've seen it go down the strip countless times. How many of you saved your 1999? I remember when this bike first came out. So guys, this one is only showing 50 miles on the odometer. It's got original paint, 175 horsepower, 6-speed transmission. Check this out, guys. It is valued at about $15,000. And isn't that amazing? 1999, not that long ago, even for a young man, and this bike's already going up in value significantly from what it was purchased at. $15,000. We'll see what it sells at, but this may make you rethink what you do with your motorcycles, especially us drag guys that put all aftermarket parts on them. May be good to keep one stock. And now we can go way back, all the way back to 1924. This is a Henderson 4, beautiful condition, one of the marquee bikes here this weekend. And how about also a 1940 Crocker Big Twin? A few years ago, a Big Tank Crocker stole the show when it went for about $650,000. We'll see what this beauty ends up going for. Finally restored. And I'm telling you, we're gonna see so many cool motorcycles. Who remembers Daredevil Bubba Blackwell? Well, this will bring back some memories. You can have it. It's gonna cost you about $50,000 though. Here it is, guys. Who remembers this? Take a look at this creation. Ridden by the great Bubba Blackwell, performance engine, performance brakes, expected to bring in high 40s, maybe even 50s here at the Mecum Motorcycle Auction. Well, here's another showstopper, guys. 1936 Indian 4-cylinder. This is one of the first motorcycles. When you walk in, it's already getting a lot of traction, a lot of interest.
This bike belongs in my friend's garage. Hopefully he develops the courage to take it home.
Excellent, sir. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Kevin Allen, Allen's Custom Framing, Boca Raton, Florida. Look it up.
Okay, so you guys traveled all the way from Florida.
We did.
If you could, just share, what's the excitement like when you show up and you're a registered bidder and you have an opportunity to bring one of these home?
This is a part of history. I mean, your father's father. I mean, it's nostalgic, you know, things we saw as a kid that we pined for, and now here it is right in front of us. Now we're old enough to afford it.
There you go.
You know, when we were kids, we couldn't afford it, and now we are. So,
well, good luck to you. We said this Indian expected to bring in about $80,000.
I'm guessing at least that. At least that. Probably more. You know,
hopefully
he'll be sorely disappointed, but who knows?
There we go. Well, good luck to you guys. Good seeing you.
You too. Take care.
It's a showstopper, Art Deco at its finest, restored. It is all period correct. It is amazing. 1936 Indian 4-cylinder. Where's my BMW fans at? Here's another one expected to bring in upwards of $80,000. It is a 1927 BMW R47. Gorgeous, gorgeous motorcycle. And to give you an idea of what the really devout collectors are looking for here, all original is the best. It's only original once. Well, it's hard to find something that has survived. So restored works too, but everything has to match. The numbers have to match. It has to be period correct. And everything is original on this 1936 Harley-Davidson EL61 cubic inch machine. It has been restored. It was restored in 1980. It's been in storage ever since. It is in fine condition, a lot of appeal, a very, very desirable bike to add to the collection. We'll see how much this beauty goes for. Jump up quite a few years to this 1959 Triumph Bonneville 650cc machine. This one expected to bring in about $30,000. It is clean. And guys, those are some of the most expensive motorcycles, but we're gonna give you a taste of everything. This auction spans 5 days, and oftentimes what goes across the block on day number one is no reserve bikes that haven't been touched. They haven't been restored. Some of them are just parts bikes. Everything all the way up to the creme de la creme, a $650,000 Crocker. I told you, we're taking you on a journey, and there is a lot to see. So let's continue on. I really hope you're enjoying this. Remember, if you had any of these, if you know anything about these, down below in the comments, I want to hear from you. I also want you to watch to the end, and I want you to tell me down below when you're all done, what was your favorite motorcycle I showed in this video and why? And I'm sure some of you may be headed down to the basement, down to the garage, out to the barn, because some of you probably have these that have been sitting and you're saying, my goodness, they've gone up in value, that's for sure. But I do want to hear from you. I want to know what's your favorite motorcycle and why. We're going to hit you with some rapid fire, and that's what we got to do when you got 1,800 bikes, that's for sure. Look at this, 1971 Honda CB750, one of the fine men here from Mecum helping out. I heard you say this thing's getting heavy,
They're all
it?
getting heavy.
They're not quite
I've been pushing heavy since Monday.
There you, well, thank you for your hard work. 1971 CB, guys. Yes, they certainly aren't as light as they are today, but this motorcycle is awesome. Those guys really work hard. Getting ready to show you a couple dirt bikes too. Bear with me too if you find any mistakes. This one's tagged in 1974 YZ250, but it can't be because it has monoshock. So I'm thinking it might be an 84 YZ250, maybe even an 83. I had an 84 125 and it was yellow, but you guys tell me. Labeled a 74 Yamaha YZ250, but I don't think it is. It's part of the Stevenson collection. As I said earlier, 13 prized collections up for bid here. YZ250, great shape, looks like a mild restoration. As you can see, there's the monoshock. We know there was not monoshock technology in 1974, at least for the YZ. Beautiful, beautiful dirt bike. I'm sure you guys can tell me in the comments exactly what year it is. If I had to guess, I'd say 83. Like I said, I had a yellow one. I had a yellow one that was an 84. Beautiful piece of history though, that's for sure. And right next to it, we have the small bore machine. It is a 1987 YZ125, restoration, new plastics, great looking bike. These were a lot of fun. And if you watch some of the old motocross videos, it's amazing what riders of yesteryear were able to do and just how far they were able to fly with really prehistoric technology compared to what guys like Eli Tomac and Marvin Musquin have today. We'll stay right here in the Stevenson collection at small bore bikes as well. The 50cc machine, he's got a few of them all the way up to the street bikes. Here you go, Yamaha fans. Look at how clean this machine is. This, of course, the 1980 Yamaha XS. 1979 Honda 550 CB, 4-cylinder CB, the bike credited for starting the sport bike craze. We know that Honda got everything on track and then Kawasaki took it to the next level. Here was Suzuki back in the day, big two-stroke manufacturer. We love our two-strokes here, you know that. Here's a GT 550 triple. 550 cc's of pure fun. These things were really enjoyable. We've seen a few on the drag strips, and here you go. Here you go, Cycledrag. There's no mistaking that emblem. That is the KZ, the KZ650. This one is a 1979. How many of you have these parts? And here's what I'm noticing. You know, the Z1 900, the KZ 1000, they were all the rage, very collectible, but I think as those bikes start to dry up and become more rare, I'm really seeing the KZ650 get a lot of traction. These bikes are starting to become uber collectible as well. No reserve on this 1975 Honda XL 350 4-stroke. Look at this machine. No mistaking this BMW bodywork. This was a really different bike. This is a 1993 BMW K1 Sport. You digging the bodywork or not? And guys, when I told you this is the largest motorcycle auction in the world, I wasn't kidding around. Keyword, world. You know our good friend Chris Matheson, he's a Top Fuel motorcycle racer over in Australia. We were over there visiting him a couple seasons ago, great friend of ours. He is watching live and may bring a few bikes back to Oz, so we're checking them out for him. One bike that Chris Matheson is hunting is this RM500, very rare. So here it is, guys. Who remembers the RM500? This is a 1983 no reserve bill of sale. Let me know in the comments. You think Chris Matheson should bring it all the way over to Australia? If he does, you better believe we're going to do a video on it. We just sent him some inside information. It looks like there's some replacement plastic. That is to be expected. Engine is in decent shape. Doesn't appear to have been painted. Carburetor certainly needs some love. It's all there, you know, it just really has the look of a bike that has been in storage for a long time. Curious as to whether or not these motorcycles run, and it's not that type of auction where you're able to start them up, so you may wonder about that, but real nice piece of history. Matho's looking for one. This bike could be headed to Australia, and we told him we're gonna help him get it there if need be. And I think I got a good deal for him. We just need to get Chris Matheson over here to race his Top Fuel motorcycle in the States, and he could pick up his bike. How great would that be, huh? He's got an awesome machine. It's the former machine of Jimmy Brantley, way back when, the second motorcycle ever in the fives. Looks like original seat, original gas tank, I would hope. Maybe a replacement fender. We got a new tire on the back. The wheels appear stock swing arm. Needs cleaned up a little bit, but it's all there. Doesn't look like the engine has been repainted. Could have been. Carburetor needs a little ultrasonic love. Pretty clean underneath. But it appears to all be there. I'll give you a look at the other side. It's hard to tell what's original plastic and not. This fender looks like a replacement to me because of the color. Maybe not though. This looks stock. Down here, subframe, suspension, everything intact. And there it is, Mr. Matho. Oh my, and here's one we have to take a close look at. This is what's neat about getting here early. You never know what you're gonna see. So from afar, you guys might be saying, yeah, Jack, I recognize that. That's a 2014 KXF. Well, lose the F and let's take it up to 500 cc's because somebody shoehorned a KX500 engine into this 2014 frame. Check this out. The KX500 was such an iconic and legendary power plant. Could you imagine what this motorcycle is like? Now you're taking all the benefits of the KX500 engine and you're putting it in a modern chassis with the best of the best suspension. I would love to ride this bike. I wish we could do test rides here. I've heard of guys doing this. We see it out at the hill climb races a lot. The KX500 engine is also very rare. They're drying up. They're becoming very collectible, limited amount produced, and Kawasaki, of course, no longer makes the KX500. It was a monster in its day. Take a look at it, guys. Would absolutely love to ride that one. So let me give you guys an idea. We're not even out of the Stevenson collection yet. This is crazy. How about this GS 550E, old school Suzuki fans? You love that one. I told you a total of 13 collections here. This one, very impressive. Looks like we got a GS 850 here. Where's my Suzuki GS fans at? Gorgeous motorcycle. Wouldn't mind having that one in my garage as well. 1973 Yamaha FS1E. This one appears to be original. Does not look like it was restored at all. This is a 1977 Yamaha TT500. And here's one that has been restored. Oh, the classic iconic livery. That is a Yamaha 500. What year is this thing? 1978. I had a yellow DT. This one's a TT500. These were great bikes. Yamaha always putting out a quality product. I want to know who had one. It's beautiful. The 1981 Honda CB900F2. Beautiful motorcycle. Honda at this time was really trying to keep pace with Kawasaki and Suzuki, and this machine definitely will be remembered for its unique look. And if you're a Honda fan, if you're really old school, you'll remember this. I'd also like, if you can, down in the comments, let me know your age. I'm curious. What is your age? I know we have viewers of all different ages, and different motorcycles will strike a chord. It all depends on when you were a child, what was desired back then that really piques your interest. Case in point, I'm looking at two KXs from the 80s right now. Now, I was born in the early 80s. I was a child of the 90s. What did that mean? I certainly wasn't a rich kid, so in the 90s and the late 90s, the bikes that we could afford were from the 80s. So we had motorcycles just like this. My best friend was a big KX guy. These are really bringing back a lot of memories. Wish I had them. I might have to load them up and take them home. First, we have the 1985 Kawasaki KX 125. It's got a pro circuit pipe. Looks to be fairly original. May have had the frame powder coated. Other than that, some aftermarket plastics, but the tank appears to be original. And here is the big brother. Wanted this one so bad. 1985 Kawasaki KX 250. I'm a big KX fan. Still own one. I have a 2002. Took me a long time to get there though. Certainly couldn't afford this bike when I was younger, but loved it. The monoshock was such a big deal back then. as well. The monoshock and going to the liquid cooling, something that the dirt bike industry did in the early 80s that really was a game changer. It was a 1985 Kawasaki KX250. Oh, and Suzuki fans, we didn't forget you. We're gonna go way back. This may be first year, I do believe, for monoshock, maybe first year for liquid cooling. You guys correct me in the comments, you may know better. I wanna say 82 was the first year for Suzuki. There's the aforementioned monoshock, the full floater, as they called it back then. As you can see, this one's been touched up. It looks like some powder coating on the frame, on the engine. It is a 1982 RM125, fresh rubber. Surely nobody could expect you to have original tires, right? Who knows? And I say that in jest, guys, but as I've been learning about this collector market, there's bikes out there with original tires. I mean, guys had the foresight to buy these back in the 80s, the 70s. Maybe you were a dealer and it was in a crate and you said, we're gonna sell 10 of them, we're gonna keep one in the crate. Maybe you forgot about it. There are stories like that. They're incredibly rare and they command a lot of money, that's for sure. But as I tell that story, it makes me smile and laugh because here's a 1974 Honda CT70 that my friends had. Again, in the 90s, we would come home from 7th or 8th grade and all take turns riding this. And look at how finely restored this one is. My goodness. It makes me laugh because one of the reasons why these bikes are so rare is when we were kids, we wrapped it around so many trees, had it in the mud, laid it down in rocks, everything a 7th grader is gonna do at 4 o'clock after the school bell rings. But that's why they're so hard to find in that condition. We have found more and more men that really know how to restore them. We've brought you a few of those people on this channel, but to find them original, whoo, you're talking from the 70s and kids like us that absolutely beat the heck out of them, it's not easy to find. We got the Yamaha 350 1972 RD. There's one that's original, guys. This is what I'm talking about. It's not shiny, it's not flashy, but it's unrestored. And oftentimes these bikes can command a lot more money than something that is over polished. Remember, it's only original once. Now, everybody's got their different taste, that's for sure. I'd like to get your take on this because as you know, I'm a classic bike owner. I have a Kawasaki KZ. My preference, what I like it restored. I like resto rod. I like it polished out. I like the custom paint. I like all that stuff. I would probably prefer to have my motorcycle look like that other than original. I do understand for posterity, it's only original once, and that's why it's so valuable, but it all comes down to taste. And I'll tell you another thing about value. We wonder where this sport, this hobby's going because the Gen Zs, are you a Gen Z? If you're a Gen Z, let me know down below. Just not sure how interested the Gen Zs are, and that's something that happened in the hot rod market that drove the price down. Everybody wants what they couldn't have when they were a kid. Well, I don't know if these bikes will be as desirable in 20 years. That remains to be seen. 1996 Honda Valkyrie. Remember this big, beefy motor, no mistaking that. The Honda Trail 70, there it is once again. So many of you had those. Beautiful selection of Harley Davidsons here. This one a 1999 Fat Boy. Here's another Honda Trail 70. These are so collectible, so desirable. Everybody loves throwback, everybody loves vintage. These are the bikes that actually are still cool with the hipsters of today. You'll see Gen Zs riding around on those in California, taking them to the beach. Here's a 1975 Honda QA50. Small bore machine, very iconic though. Look at this, this brings back some memories. This was exactly the color of my best friends. I'm gonna have to tag them in. We beat the living heck out of it. I don't even know if it's still in one piece. We had a blast on it. Certainly didn't look like that. And the motorcycles just keep on coming. I know so many of you could not be here this year. Limited capacity. As I said, NBC Sports not even covering it, but we wanted to do our part to get out here and give you a real taste of this auction, and we're not done yet. We got so many impressive motorcycles to see, and in just a minute, we're gonna walk up to the auction block and we'll let you take a look at some of the bidding in progress. But my goodness, guys, it may take me a little while to get through here, that's for sure. Oh boy, how about the three-wheeler, Honda 70. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I got to jump on a flight and get to a race tomorrow. I'm a little bit worried. Am I going to make it in time? Because I was at Barber Museum recently. I hope you check out that video on our YouTube channel. Thought I was going to be there a couple hours, shut the place down. Might be the same case today. We may shut this down because there is still a lot to see. Hope you're loving it. All different forms of racing represented. Here's a little something from my flat track guys. Where you at? That's for sure. And you know, what's interesting, when you talk about the collector market, race vehicles are worth pennies on a dollar. We kind of know that, and I touched on that earlier. As drag racers, what's the first thing we do? We put aftermarket parts on it, we spend a ton of money, and ironically, that actually brings the value of your bike down in the long run. But as I said before, it's all about personal preference and what you really want. Oh boy, now my stepdad has one of these. It needs restored. I'd love to make it look like this. This is a 1971 Honda Z50 Mini Trail. Loved it. And I can tell you, I've never seen one of these in person. 1983 Kawasaki KZ550 Spectra. I'm assuming that is stock livery. I really love the gold and black. It's cool, guys. I've never seen one of these in person. Fill me in. Throwback here, Kawasaki 1975 100. And here comes a Hayabusa. Do you guys know what it sold for?
No.
Wow. We'll have to head up to the auction block, guys. Suzuki Hayabusa stock exhaust. And see, that's what I'm talking about. I just sold my stock exhaust off my Hayabusa on Facebook Marketplace. Why? Because if you travel a lot like I do, it's a pain in the butt to lug around. I knew in the back of my mind, maybe I should be saving this, but that's why it's so difficult. How many guys out there with Z1s or KZs said, yeah, I had about 6 sets of stock exhaust hanging from my garage, don't have them anymore. It's one reason why it's hard to find this stuff in original condition. Who remembers the little pocket bike, the GS XR50? They're a lot of fun. Here we have the 1973 Honda CB350F. The small bore motorcycles were popular too. This one I did a double take. I thought somebody from concessions or somebody from the staff left their scooter here. No, this one's on the auction block. 1974 Cushman Midget Miser. It will hit the auction block. Check out this old Indian as well. Such a selection here. What a dichotomy. Sold as is, no warranty, of course. This is a 1949 Indian Scout, 440 cc's. This is a 1968 Honda C110. All right, let's take you up to the stage, watch some bidding in progress. We'll check out some more cool bikes. Wow, look at this Yamaha RD. Here's one finally restored. Gotta love the two-strokes. Speaking of two-strokes, the white YZ selection. Yes, they've got plenty of them. This is a 1989 125. Who remembers the 490? This was a bad boy. Wasn't easy to kickstart, I'll tell you that. Another YZ here, another white one. This one is a 1985 Yamaha YZ 125. And Honda guys, we got you as well. There is the iconic, unforgettable 1983 Honda CR 125. And I'm sure you guys can hear the auctioneer in the background. I want to get you up there. 5 days of bidding from mainly online bidders. We do have an in-person crowd here in Las Vegas. Like I said, there's several restrictions and safeguards. You got your masks, you got your hand sanitizer, but the good news is this event was able to go on. Limited capacity, but still able to go on nonetheless. Let's hope when we get to next year's auction, COVID's out of here, this pandemic's out of here, and we have a fresh start. Motorsports is ready for that. The motorcycling industry is ready for that as well. But on the way, how about a 1974 Yamaha GT80? Look at this old school Kawasaki 350, unrestored. This is a 1974 project bike. I told you there will be some project bikes that will roll across. We got the old school Yamaha, another Honda Trail 70. What kind of creation do we have over here? Uh-oh. Is this another Frankenstein? Yes, it is. We showed you the KX500. Here's the CR500 conversion. It's in a 2006 frame. Again, I want to ride it. Please, I can't imagine how nasty this thing is. Big, beefy, two-stroke with all the modern technology, all the great suspension. You know, it's cool to see guys having a good time here. It's before noon, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Vegas, 1,800 motorcycles, cocktails, good food to eat. Yeah, it's a good day. Hope you're enjoying it. And even at Mecum, I love it. Cycledrag universe everywhere. What's your name?
My name is Steve.
Where are you from?
I'm from Scottsdale.
Perfect. You watch Cycledrag?
Every episode.
Thank you so much. You're on this one. Enjoy it, my
sir.
man. You gonna buy anything?
I just bought something.
What'd you buy?
69 DSA
Oh,
Firebird.
oh yeah. There we go. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I'll tell you what else is cool is Mecum makes it easy for folks. Look, haul bikes are here. We've used haul bikes before. They're great. They can get to anywhere in the United States. And for our good friend Chris Matheson, they can even help get it to a container depot right on site. You get your bike, you get your shipping done. All right, here with Josh from Haul Bikes. Josh, it is a one-stop shop. That is what's so awesome here. You buy your motorcycle, you guys offer shipping to anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere in the United States, absolutely. So as long as you buy it here, we're going to go ahead and load it right on one of our trailers, and we're going to get it to you within 3 weeks. So that way you don't have to worry about trying to find some local guy that's, you know, not skilled as we are. This is all we do. It's who we are. It's what we do. We haul bikes.
I love it, guys, and I've used them. They're the best. They take a bunch of photos. They give you text messages every step along the way.
Yep,
it's
we
great.
take care of you. It's your baby. We get that. All of our drivers are bikers. We're going to take care of your baby.
Awesome, man. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. I know you're a busy man. We'll let you get back to work, guys.
Thank you so much.
Haul Bikes, check them out.
Down 5 here, down 2 here, down 52, down 5, down 5, and down 5 bid, down 5, 55 here, down 5 down 5 here, down 5 here, down where you gotta go, down 55, down 52, making swing the internet.
This next lot, Matt's going to be sold on a bill of sale.
Sold on the internet for $5,200. It's so cool to watch this. This is great. What talent by the auctioneer, too.
35, you'll get 37 7. Thank you though. 35 here, not get 37. Not get 35.
W53 is a 1976 KTM Cross Country. This is also sold on a bill of sale, owned and ridden by famed Bob Ewing Sr. Documentation's included and no reserve.
Down. It's 17 here, not going to be 15, going to be 17, 2. It's 2, going to be 2, not going to be 10 here, 5. Hit 5, going to be 5 down 5, not going to be 25 here, 22, not going to be 5. Hit 5, going to be 5 down 5, going to be sold for 2,200, sold 2,200, making swing the internet.
W54.
Well, I'll tell you, there's some great deals on day one. There's some steals as we're seeing. But I'll tell you, why don't we get back to looking at some cool motorcycles? I got some more that I really want to show you. All right, let's go old school again. This is a 1957 NSU single. We got the Nimbus over here, another great motorcycle. Classic. This one, a 1939 Nimbus 4-cylinder. How about this Harley Davidson? Wow, fine condition. This is a 1928 Harley Davidson single pea shooter. Got the 3-wheeler as well. 1939 Harley Davidson Cervicar. Estimated worth about $17,000. So many classic ones in this row, that's for sure. Do you dig the old school Harleys? Let me know. Who remembers the Ace? Gorgeous bike. This one is a 2000 Honda VIT. 1924 Harley Davidson FH, 74 cubic inches, estimated worth of $35,000. Let's take you to one that really has a military bike appearance. Check it out. This is a 1942 Harley Davidson XA, 45 cubic inches. Now you want to go really old school to when motorcycles look like bicycles. That's this section. You're talking about some of the most expensive bikes at this auction. Let's take a quick look. Here's one that was in a museum for a long time. It is expected to bring in about $100,000. It is a 1907 FN4. Look at it, guys. This is what I was talking about. When they look more like bicycles, you know we're going way back. Here's another one that should command upwards of $70,000. This is a 1908 Thor single. It belongs to a Nevada resident. Much like many of these motorcycles, at one time it was stored in a museum. Now, what happens along the way? Does the museum sell it? Does the museum move inventory? Was it just on loan? Who knows? But it did spend much of its life in a museum. Now it is up for bid, expected to bring in about $75,000. Another showstopper. Here's this gentleman taking a close look at a 1912 Indian Twin. 61 cubic inches, estimated worth of about $60,000. Belongs to a Nevada resident. Well, I just spoke with the gentleman from Mecum. He told me his primary function is to make sure all the numbers match. That's very, very important because with so many motorcycles, you got to make sure that everything is as advertised. He's also looking at condition, but the main thing is making sure the numbers match the title, match the bill of sale, whatever we may have, and that they match what's advertised. There's a 1909 Excelsior single, estimated worth of $41,000. 1913 Reading Standard single. This one expected to bring in about $75,000. Comes with a bill of sale. And here is a 1922 FN4. This one worth about $35,000. It is an older restoration, but as you can see, it's been quite some time since it's been touched. And walking around, I told you, the motorcycles change quickly. Right next to our 1909, we go all the way back to the year 2008. A little bit of something for everyone. So you know here on Cycledrag, we have a soft spot in our heart for Kawasaki KZs. We're gonna find some of those. Look at this though. What's this supercharged Harley Davidson? My goodness, we gotta get the deal on this. Is a 2007 South Florida Choppers Bobber. It's a custom bike from Jim Labar's Legendary Collection. Check this thing out, it's me. A lot of great looking Harleys. The Hadaka. Like I said, we're on a hunt to see if we can find maybe H2 750 two-stroke. Look at the chopper. How about this, guys? This is a 2004 Eddie Trotta Custom. This is when choppers were all the rage. One of the hottest shows on TV was Orange County Choppers. Since then, the chopper fad has kind of died down a little bit and given way to the baggers, but I'm not ready to pronounce choppers dead by any means. Was it Bike Week this year? Hope you got to see that video. We saw quite a few on Main Street, but really right now it's all about the baggers, and maybe vintage baggers are the next big thing. This is a 1965 Harley Davidson Panhead. 1920 Indian Board Racer M171. Older restoration here on the AJS. This is actually a 1929 350. Bike was ahead of its time. Hard to believe it's from 1929. Looks like it could be a little bit more modern than that. What do you think? Oh, here's a cool one for my Indian fans out there. And I want to know, have you ever ridden in a sidecar? I can tell you I've been around motorcycles my whole life. I've never been in a sidecar. Not sure I want to be in a sidecar. But in the year 1953, many were with this Indian. 1,300 cc's. It is a 1953 Indian Chief, and here is the sidecar. Never got to experience this. Rare motorcycle here, 1977 MV Augusta. Guys would take these to the drag strip. They could run 13s right out of the box. That was pretty fast back in 1977. This one unrestored and in fine condition. There's a 1961 BSA Super Rocket 650 cc's from the Dan Harrell collection. It is restored back to original condition. Beautiful bike. You guys remember the Buell Cyclone? This one from 2001. It's really in great shape. Low miles. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. We're already entering the era where 2001 and 1999 is collectible, especially with the Gen 1 Suzuki Hayabusa. Look at that stock exhaust. It's in great shape. It's one we'll be looking at for years to come. Now, some of these are really head scratchers to me, guys. I'm taking a look at a 2006 Honda CRF 450 X6. I'm assuming it's brand new because it says the value is $10,500. That's an awful lot for a 2006, not yet what I would call a collectible motorcycle, but take a look. One of the benefits of keeping it brand new, as I mentioned, there's guys doing that. There's guys doing that right now. It's very similar to the baseball card industry. One of my good friends is in that business. He'll buy boxes of cards and he'll make sure we put away a few and we don't touch them. And that's what guys are doing with motorcycles as well. And if you're like me, you're cringing right now at just how difficult it is, because baseball cards are one thing, comic books, throw them up in the attic, but a motorcycle is made to go destroy, go have some fun, go beat the heck out of this thing through the woods. I guess if you have the financial wherewithal to buy one to have fun with and buy one to put away, that's a good move, but let's just face it, not all of us have it like that, do we? And we go way back right next to that with a 1926 Harley Davidson board tracker. There's another classic Harley Davidson. This one a 1920 Harley Davidson twin. 1974 Harley Davidson SR100. Wow, take a look at this. That's pretty cool. Race version, AMA Grand National Champion. This is a 1998 Harley Davidson XR 750 flat tracker. I told you guys that race bikes aren't always worth a lot. Well, it depends on who rode it. This one's famous. It was ridden by national champion Joe Kopp. Because of that, it's expected to go for, are you ready for this? $45,000. 1974 Triumph Bonneville 750. These are becoming very collectible as well. There's a very loyal cult-like following of Triumph fans out there, and occasionally you see a bunch of them rolling down the highway. Another flat track creation, this one being sold with no reserve, bill of sale, built by Carl Patrick. It's got a Honda CRF 450 engine. Now this is very interesting. This is what I was talking about, guys. You never know what you're gonna see, especially if you come here on day one. Here's a bike that was just simply donated. Somebody needed to get rid of it. It's a 2003 Honda CRF 450R. It is a rolling chassis, no engine. Not really collectible. I mean, this is something you'd expect to see on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, not here at Mecum Auction, but as I said, you never know what you're gonna see. It will be interesting to see what it goes for. Now, bikes do tend to go for a lot more at Mecum Auction, but here's one of the caveats. There's a 10% fee on each side for the buyer and seller, so that's something that does drive the price up. And you wonder the story behind this motorcycle. How did it find its way to Mecum? And what happened to the engine? Who has it? Do you have it watching? You might. Some of you may have a CRF 450 engine. All right, Harley drag bike fans, help me out. We may be able to figure out whose bike this is. It's a small enough niche community. I'm assuming a West Coast Harley drag bike. Guys, 1999 Harley drag bike. They say over 40,000 invested. I could believe it, but absolutely no reserve. This could be a place to get a smoking deal on a drag bike. Like I said, if you recognize this bike, if you have any idea who may have competed, looks like, I'm not sure what to see if it has HDRA tags on it or not. Let's go take a closer look. Striking custom paint, unmistakable. It's got the Pingle air shifter. Shout out to our great supporters, Wayne and Donna Pingle. Love them so much. The Dyna coils. It's fast. PMFR sprockets. PMFR, that inventory purchased by our friends at Grothish Drag Bikes. Weekend Frame Company advertised. Let's see if there's any clues on the wheelie bar. It says ET426. Now, I do not see any series logos, no HDRA, no AMRA, no drag bike, no Pro Star. Looks like this may have just competed on the local level. A lot of times what guys do is they'll build bikes like this and they'll lose interest and it'll end up on display at somebody's bar. That could have been the case, but you may know otherwise. Let me know, guys. I was always partial to the unique look of the Honda VF 1000R. This is 1985. Let me make sure I'm right. Yeah, 1985. This is when the styling got very square in the back, very rectangular. We saw this on Suzuki, and Honda was right there with them. It was very competitive, as always, between these manufacturers, and just produced a really unmistakable like. You guys like this look, or are you happy it's gone? Nice lot of Triumphs here, clean. What a collection. Guys, here's one that's scaring me a little bit. You know, when I look at the old bikes, I say this separated the men from the boys. Well, this one's a 2007 chopper, but it's built like a 1912er. It looks a little frightening to ride. I may be willing to cruise around Main Street in Daytona. I don't know that I'm willing to take this thing on 95 or out on the highway. What do you think, guys? Who's signing up for this? I mean, good wheels and tires. I don't know about this front end. It's got the drag bars on it. Absolutely no suspension that I can see. Like I said, I think this would be an interesting bike to maybe take to Main Street. I want to know in the comments, yes or no, would you take this thing out on the highway? Would I take it out on the highway? Oh, hell no. I do value my life. I love motorcycles, but I value my life. Don't want to get in trouble on this thing. I can't imagine that would make for a very comfortable ride. It's a unique creation, that's for sure. And that's another interesting facet of the custom bike market. We saw this, I think even Orange County Choppers would admit that sometimes you push the creativity envelope so far that you just come up with an unmitigated failure, disaster. It happens. Great artists do it all the time. You try to be different, sometimes it doesn't come out right. That one's definitely different. I don't know if I'm digging it or not. Maybe you are. All right, guys, and speaking of drag bikes, I have another one that our friend from Australia may want to see. Yes, Australia's quickest and fastest motorcycle drag racer, Chris Matheson, told me, Jack, take a look at this classic Harley drag bike. You may bring it back. I found it. It's a 1969, and this one is going to put you deep in the Wayback Machine. Back to when motorcycle drag racing slicks looked like this, and this is collectible in and of itself. My dad has one of these on his S2 350. This was a very popular slick, a Goodyear 5.5-incher, 1969 Harley Davidson dragster. It's got magneto ignition, air cooled, 2-shoe brake, S&S carburetor, cutaway primary cover. Take a look at this front end, guys. I mean, it's a true drag bike. It's basic, it's simplistic, it's all about saving weight. I'd love to know what type VT it would run. It would look great cleaned up. I think this is one that you do polish out. You don't worry about keeping it all original because it's so highly modified. And this one very well could be headed to Australia along with that RM500. We'll have to keep you posted on that and see if Chris Matheson pulls the trigger. It's so cool. Like I said, guys, he's over in Australia and he's going to be bidding live. We've got a handful of people in attendance. We've got thousands upon thousands watching at home on their computers wanting to bid live. I hope those folks also have followed this video on Cycledrag. If you love motorcycles, you're always welcome here. Now, we got to go find some KZs, some Z1s, and some H2s because I'm surprised we've gotten this far without seeing any. Let's go. And just as I say that, the KZ gods smile on me. There goes that 650 headed for the auction block. It's quite a few bikes back, but you want me to hang out and see what it brings in? That will be entertaining. Maybe we'll go grab a bite real quick. It's about lunchtime, and we'll see what this 650 brings. All right, we'll wait for that bike to come up. Quick little break, grab some lunch. $15 for a burger. Welcome to Vegas. No surprise there. All right, Kawasaki KZ's back in staging. As you can see, there's quite a few motorcycles to hit the block before we get to our KZ, so why don't we take a look back. Let's see if we can find some more KZ Z1s. Let's go. There she is, Matho. She is in staging. Probably gonna hit the block in about I would say less than 30 minutes. All right, Chris, here is the 1983 Kawasaki KX500 you asked about. It is clean, really, really clean bike. Gorgeous. Can't really find any flaws. Got the modern handlebars on it. Other than that, looks pretty darn original. And here is the 480 you asked about as well. DG exhaust. Looks like the frame's been powder coated. Engine's been coated. Full restoration. Both very, very clean bikes. There you go. All right, and I think we have found some old school cows. Yes, we have. Now, I'm wondering if this is a new trend or if this is just a one-off, a pandemic oddity. But one thing I'm noticing is 3 years ago when I was here, there were a ton of KZ, Z1s, Z1Rs. I'm not seeing a lot. Are they drying up or is it just an off year here at the auction? I don't know, but let's check out what we got over here. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the 1973 Kawasaki Z1 900, the motorcycle that started it all, the secret project that they called the New York Steak in Japan. Why? Because Americans love big, bad, excess. This was the motorcycle designed to compete with the CB750. It took the sport bike to a whole nother level. It started the Z1 craze, which led to the KZ craze. This one is original as well. As you can see, it's not restored. This could command a pretty penny. It's still got the airbox. That was big. Drag racers would put on the individual air cleaners, and it's still got stock exhaust as well. So, very interesting. Original paint. You don't normally see these bikes original. We've seen plenty restored. It's a thing of beauty. What a piece of history, gotta love it. In 1972, it was all about the H2 750. Well, Kawasaki knew the two-stroke days were coming to an end. Enter the 1973 Z1 900. This one only has 11,000 miles on it. As I said, all original. You know, it needs polished out, it needs all those fine touches, but this is what makes it so valuable, that it is unrestored. I was able to sit in on a conference here at Mecum a few years ago, and they talked about preserving value of bikes. They said, I have a vintage bike, the gas tank is dented. Do I A, try to fix it, B, get another gas tank, or C, leave it alone? It was unanimous. The panel said, leave it alone. This one's been left alone. What's that famous line? It's only original once. This one, definitely original. 5-speed transmission. You know, these things do clean up so nice. I'd have to ask some of the experts, is it against the rules to clean them up? I wouldn't think so. But beautiful piece of history. The iconic, legendary Kawasaki Z1 900. Let's see if we can see. It looks like this one has a Missouri tag on it. Don't you wish these motorcycles could talk sometimes? Looks like this one's been in storage for an awfully long time based on the condition of that cable. It's probably been sitting in somebody's basement, sitting in somebody's garage. And when you see that squarish, boxy style front fairing, you know what motorcycle we're looking at, the Z1R. Not nearly as collectible as the Z1, but collectible nonetheless. Only made them for 2 years, the Z1R 1000cc machine. This one beautiful, another original survivor. As you can tell, I mean, has not even been cleaned, hasn't seen a microfiber towel, but it has survived through the years. It's got the Kawasaki by Crocker exhaust system. Always loved the styling of this motorcycle. Would love to have one someday, that's for sure. And what in the heck is this, guys? 1973 Z1 900. Looks like a cafe racer. And again, all original, has not been touched. It looks like it has some type of paint over it. Maybe from storage. I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see what a motorcycle like this goes for. Absolutely no reserve. Looks like it's all complete. Again, sometimes you just wish these things could speak. So I told you guys there's a buyer for everything, there's a market for everything. Sir, what's your name?
George.
And where are you from, George?
Los Angeles.
Excellent, George. We're taking a look at this Z1 900 Cafe Racer, and you're telling me your friend heavily interested. Tell me why.
Basically, it's a retro racer from back in the day. The guy who owned it had a whole collection of about 50 bikes. He recently passed away. This is one of the more custom ones that he had.
Sure. Now, I know a lot of these collections, we see the immaculate restorations. This collection, everything's so original that I'm seeing specks of paint on there. I mean, is there an appeal to that?
This looks original from back in the day when he built it. Whoever built this bike, it never got re-restored, so to speak, right?
Well, hey, good luck to you guys. What do you think it'll bring in, if you had to guess?
My buddy said, in this condition, just the engine alone is worth a couple grand.
That's true, because you check the numbers, it's a Z1, 73 Z1 engine.
Yeah, so they're in high demand right now. The rest of it, all the customization, the rims, the hubs, the special brakes, the rear sets. It's for somebody who's interested in a road racer from vintage, it's a good deal.
Good luck to you guys.
Yeah.
All right, two-stroke fans, I have yet to see a Kawasaki H2. That's a little rare. Are they drying up? There was a ton here 3 years ago, just saying. But we did find an H1, the 500cc machine. Great bikes back in the day. 500cc air-cooled two-stroke triples. And this one is out of the same collection. As you can see, I mean, we've shown you a lot that are finally restored. The consistency here, everything's original. Nothing has been touched. Even look at the gauges. You can tell they're so hard to keep nice throughout the years. If you watch the restoration we did on our KZ1000, you know that there's a lot of reproduction parts available out there. We use Z1 Enterprises quite a bit down in Florida. Great guys. But, a trained eye will be able to tell right away what's reproduction and what's original. And again, it's personal preference. It's all what you want. If you asked me what I would rather have on my KZ1000, the original gauges that are beat to heck and have dust in them and have fogged glass, or brand new ones from Z1, I'd probably take the brand new ones just because that's what I'm into. But for posterity, for preserving history, yeah, you got to keep it all original. Let me know what you like better. And I can tell you this, back in the year 1979, there weren't too many people outrunning the police if they ran into this big, beefy Kawasaki KZ1000 police bike. These are very collectible. I've seen a few go for some big bucks on eBay over the years. Be interesting to see what this motorcycle brings in here. The only thing I'm a bit surprised about, and you guys will have to elaborate if you know the story, is why were these bikes shaft driven as opposed to chain driven? It makes them a little bit heavier, not quite as snappy, not quite as fast. That's why everything on the drag strip is chain driven, that's for sure. But I'm sure they had their reason. Maybe it came down to maintenance, something the police department preferred. But nonetheless, it's KZ power plant, and it was fast. And for you custom bagger guys out there, yes, even those machines have made it here to Mecum Auction. Let's take a look at two fine ones. Right now you're taking a look at a 2009 Harley Davidson FLHX all steel bagger, 103 cubic inches. It's out of the Jim Nazi custom collection. It's expected to bring in, are you ready for this? $100,000. It's gorgeous. How many of you out there have ever heard of the Martin Brothers? This is a 2013 Martin Brothers custom bagger. Features a handmade steel rear fender, Joe Martin graphics, custom paint, Alpine stereo, the custom 26-inch front wheel. This one not expected to bring in six figures, but it has been attracting a lot of attention and definitely something that should bring in, I would say $25,000, $30,000. We'll see where it ends up. All right, drag bike fans, you know when the Z1 came out in 1973, it just wasn't fast enough for some people. So some people decided to throw turbo on it with a stretched swing arm and go drag racing. Check out this beauty. It's got that pro street look. It'll be interesting to see what this one goes for. Boy, turbo technology has come so far over the years, hasn't it? But this was a very fast motorcycle in the year 1973. It's got the custom Corbin gunfighter style seat, the box aluminum swing arm, spoke wheels. This thing was something to see on the drag strip for sure. Now it would be more of a pro street bike. We'll see what it goes for. All right, we're getting close to this KZ650 going off on the auction block. Let's watch it, guys. Hope you enjoy this. You can live vicariously through the lucky owner, the lucky winner, I should say. Very exciting, good energy here.
75 here, not going to 75. And down 5 in, not going to 15, not going to 70, 1,200 others on it, 1,000, 1,200 man. 1,002, not going to 2, not going to 2, 22, 22, 2,200 man, not going to 4, not going to 4, down 35 here, not going to 4, 35, 4,000. In 4, not going to 4, L done back there, Travis, not going to 4,000 man. Going to get 4 down, not going to 4, down 4, not going to 35 here, down 4, not going to 4,000 man. Sold 3,500, sold 3,500 to McRae.
Of course, no reserve.
550 time here now, not going to be about 1,000, 1,500 to man.
This is the CB we looked at, the CB 550 out of the Stevenson collection. Let's see what it brings in. It's currently at 4,000 and rising. I'm telling you, it's amazing what these bikes bring in here.
Get a bit about 45 and about Paul 5,000 a bit. In 5, get a bit about 545 here, 5,000 bid. And down 5 bid, I'm going to bid about 5. Sold 4,500, sold $4,500, Little Paul.
W1 system, chain drive, inline 3 and a 4-stroke, no reserve.
The heifer mates off and down, not going to bid about here, 3 and here, 2, not going to bid 1,000, 1,500 a bid. 1,000 under down, not going to bid 15, not going to bid 10, not going to bid 2, not going to bid 2, down 5. And down 5 here, not going to bid about 5, 5, not going to bid 25 here, not going to bid about 5. And 2 to bid, not going to bid about 5, 5, not going to bid 3,000 a bid. In 3, not going to bid 3, not going to bid about 25, 3 bid, not going to bid 25 and a bid, 3,000. In 3, not going to bid about 5, 35, 35 here, not going to bid 3, not going to bid about 5, 35. In a 4, not going to bid about 4, 35 here, 4. In 4, 4, 4, not going to bid 4, not going to bid about 4, 35 here, 4 to bid, not going to bid 4,000. In 4, not going to bid about 4, 35 here, 4 bid, not going to bid 37 to bid, 35, last call, down 7 to bid. In 5 here, down 7 to bid, 7 to bid, not going to bid about 5, 7 to bid, 35 here, 3,700. And down 5, 7 to bid, not going to bid 37, I have 4, down 4 bid, down 4, and a 4 bid, down 4. So 37, so
37. Here comes the KZ, guys. Here we go.
Speed, chain drive, no reserve.
Not going to be a 6-weight cattle here, down, not going to be about 5 here, not going to be about here, $1,000, 15 down, and a 10 here, down 15, not going to be about down here, 15, not going to be about 2, down 2, and down 5, down 25, down 5, not going to be about 5 here, 2, not going to be about 5 here, 25 down, and down 5 here, down 5, 5, going to be about 5, not going to be about 5, 25 here, 3, and a 3 band, down 3, not going to be about 3, down, going to be about spring backs, come right up the songs here, 3 down band, and a 3 band, not going to be about 3, 25 here, 7 band, 5 here, 71, in 5 here, down 7 band, 25 down 3, here 2, not going to be 2, not going to be about 5, and down 5 band, 35, 5, not going to be about 5, not going to be about 5 here, 35, mark down here, 35 band, and down 5, not going to be about 5, down 2, not going to be 7 band, 35 down 7, and down 5 here, 7 band, gold bank here, 5 here, 7 band, 35, 71, and down 5 band, 7 band, not going to be about 35, down, going to be about 7, not going to be about 5 down 7, and a 5 here, 7 band, not going to be about 5 down 7, 5 down here, sold 35, Alex's way.
W140 in 1975.
Wow, only 35. I would have expected to go for a little bit more than that. Perhaps the market a little oversaturated right now for 650s. $3,500. That sounds about right. But then you got to remember, you got 10% on each side. All right, that was a lot of fun. Let's get back to work now. How about a V8 trike? This thing expected to bring in more than $50,000. Take a look. Look at the beautiful custom paint and look at that big, beefy engine. Yes, that is a V8. In fact, it's a 350 horsepower Jasper Racing engine, small block. It's got Harley Ram multi-port fuel injection, an automatic 2-speed transmission with reverse, new custom paint, as I said, clean bra, and it also has the forward fairing parts an 11-gallon fuel cell. Yeah, you need to fill it up when you go for a ride on one of these monsters. Well, you remember earlier how I told you some very wise and astute dealers kept their motorcycles in the crate, in the boxes? Well, wait till you see this. We're gonna take you back to the year 1990, and this is exactly how it would show up at the dealership. This is a 1990 Honda GB500 in the crate. It's flawless, no scratches, no pitting to any of that chrome. I'll see if we can get a peek. We don't even want to touch this box to help preserve it, but take a look, guys. It's been in a climate-controlled atmosphere. This is the equivalent of putting away those baseball cards. Like I said, not opening them. The box has a little bit of damage to it, but not too bad. Looks like it was shipped to Jacksonville, straight from American Honda. Amazing. I told you you'd see it all. Now, could you imagine if somebody still had an H2 750 or a 73 Z1 900 still in the box? There may be a couple out there. We don't know. There may be a few that people don't know about it, tucked away in storage. 1974 Yamaha RD350, no reserve, only 5,000 miles on this gorgeous motorcycle. Really one of the iconic and legendary two-stroke bikes of its day. 1969 Honda CB750. It is the Sandcast. Very rare, very early, only 7,400 miles. Finally restored, features the candy blue-green paint. It is beautiful. Did Santa ever bring this? Did you ever find this one under the tree? 1986 Honda Z50 Christmas Edition. Another timeless classic, this one a 1967 Honda 305 Scrambler. One of the more modern bikes here, this is a 2008 Harley Davidson FXDF Dyna Fat Bob. It's in great condition. Looks like it's got some road miles on it. All polished out, very clean, no reserve. Check this out, here's a 1991 Harley Davidson Ultra Classic with the sidecar. I want to know who's ridden in one of those. We may have to do it just for the sake of a Cycledrag YouTube video to see what it's like in one of those sidecars. I can't imagine it's much fun. Oh, and I found one that's going to command a pretty penny. Highly original 1978 Kawasaki Z1R. Take a look at this thing. They got a great fundraiser going on right now. That's cool. Well, this bike will raise some funds because look at how original it is, guys. 1978 Kawasaki Z1R. It's expected to bring in about $15,000. This is pretty close to the way you would see them rolling down the road in the year 1978. This has still got the airbox on it. Very original. Stock chain guard. Look at that chain too. This is what I'm saying. These bikes, you can tell they haven't seen the road in a very long time. Somebody might have parked this thing in like 1982 and it may have just been sitting in grandpa's basement, grandma's basement. Who knows? If only they could talk. Would love to know the history, but somebody hasn't used it too much because it is pretty close to stock. 1913 Dayton Big Twin. 1917 Excelsior 61 cubic inch machine, expected to bring in about $60,000. How about a 1938 Harley Davidson Knucklehead, 61 cubic inches. Here we have the 1940 Indian Scout, finally restored. We didn't forget about you BMW fans either. Here's a 1982 BMW R80 GS. BMW is really sneaking up in value. This one expected to bring in about $15,000. Well, guys, I talked about the six-figure mark. We're getting deep into the six figures. I'm talking a bike that could eclipse $200,000. 1926 OEC Temple and Zani Racer. 996 cc's, estimated value of $220,000. Could do better than that here at Mecum this weekend. Found another cool old school drag bike here that started out in the 50s, you know, flat straight lines in Southern California. Before the CB, before the Z1, 1953 Triumph Thunderbird drag bike. It's raced and sold by drag racing champion Bobby Sarkeesian. Historic early nitro burning bike. Take a look. Obviously this one sold on a bill of sale, no reserve, polished out, all original. Take a look at these handlebars. Definitely needed a whole lot of intestinal fortitude to run this thing on nitro back in the 50s. Real piece of history. Here's a real oddity, a real rare one too for you hill climb fans. 2,500 cc's. Nitro burning excitement with a jack shaft. It's been ridden by several champions, including Jeremy McGrath. This motorcycle expected to bring in upwards of $10,000. Let's take a closer look. Big bore, nitro methane, 200 horsepower, hill-borne injected. It's got a 21-inch bolted paddle tire in the back. It was raced on the Naha circuit out here on the West Coast. It was the biggest cubic inch hill climber ever built. It was ridden by Robbie Peterson, MC, as we mentioned, Colby Peck. No transmission. It has a jack shaft that puts it in and out of gear. The suspension is specifically set up for hill climbing. As you can see, just like a drag bike, it's got the external starter. If you follow Cycledrag closely, you know we have shown you some hill climbing on this channel before. If you look close enough, you'll be able to find some. I didn't expect to see this here. I mean, mainly built as a vintage motorcycle auction, but certainly you see your modern bikes. This one's very desirable today. Fits right into the bagger craze that I was talking about. This is a 2015 heavily modified Street Glide Special, expected to bring in upwards of $40,000, guys. Let's take a look at some of the features and see if this motorcycle could command that type of a lofty price at what is primarily a vintage auction. The big wheel on the front, that's 30 inches. This was featured in Urban Bagger magazine. It's just about custom everything. Custom paint, pinstripes, custom exhaust by Sick Pipes, custom seats by James Carter, and custom audio by J&L. We're hoping to get $65,000 for this motorcycle. It's awesome, it's impressive. I don't know if it will get there this weekend. And we mentioned our friends from Orange County Choppers. It was great to work with Paul Tuttle Sr. and Mikey and get them out to a drag race a few years ago. We found one of the Orange County Choppers. Here's one that they actually built for the Venetian Hotel. 2012 OCC T-Rex Softail, estimated value of $50,000. It was unveiled by OCC's Rick Petco. He put 14 miles on it, and guess what? That's all that's on it. It has sat. It has been on display. That's all the Venetian wanted to do with it. And apparently, I don't know, maybe because of the economic downturn, the pandemic, or maybe it's just run its course as a display piece, they've decided to sell it here at Mecum. Hoping to get a pretty penny. They're hoping to get $50,000 for it. We'll see. Don't know that the chopper market is that hot anymore. We've seen this. A lot of the bikes that OCC built for $120,000, $110,000, we see them now at auctions, shells of their former selves going for 8 or 9, 10 grand. That's not a knock on OCC, guys. It's just, you know, it's like building a drag bike. You know, you can go build a pro mod and put $100,000 into it, but what are you going to sell it for 15 years later? How outdated is it? What will the market command? Same thing's happening to a lot of these choppers. I'm not sure what they're going to be able to get out of this motorcycle. Being famous will help it. The fact that you can go back and watch a television show and see them unveil it helps, but I just don't know that it'll bring in $50,000. Who remembers the rotary engine? Suzuki fans do. This is a 1975 Suzuki RE5. It is restored up to museum quality specs. An amazing motorcycle, believed to only have 1,500 miles on it before the restoration. Didn't need a whole lot, that's for sure. A real piece of history. Can you believe we put a rotary engine in a motorcycle? Oh boy, now we're entering my section. I see some things I like. How about some finely restored KZs, some Z1s? Let's go check them out, guys. These ones are clean. This one finally restored, as you can see. Looks like the engine has been soda blasted. Everything's absolutely perfect. It's a 1975 Kawasaki Z1, and we got some pictures. What's your name, sir?
David.
Where are you from?
I'm from Bixley, California.
Excellent, okay, and look, we got some pictures. I can tell you, having just done a restoration, these are not easy. Tell me what's going on here.
Oh, this was a total resto. It came out of a chicken coop.
Wow.
Nori's the owner,
Okay.
the Japanese fellow, and I go find them and he restores them.
And he restores them.
Yeah.
Wow, we're gonna have to ask him about it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Fine job.
Thank you.
Yes, this is the one I came for. Truly amazing. Is it all original? No, but definitely my style, man. So clean. Take a look at this. I hope it shows up on your smartphone or your device just as clean as it is in person, because it's amazing. Probably doesn't have any road miles on it since they soda blasted these cases. Now, I will tell you, I do like to ride them. And if you ride them, you're gonna pick up some road grime. It's unfortunately just part of it, but I can spot already. See, I'm not the biggest aficionado in the world. I can tell you that brake light switch is aftermarket, probably came from Z1. It's not stock. These pipes are reproduction. So it's not an original motorcycle, but it's clean, it's beautiful. Probably not original emblems there. I don't have original emblems on my bike as well, aftermarket paint. Let's take a look at the gauges. Let's see if the gauges are repo. Those gauges may be original. It looks like they might have been able to save them. Looks like they might have been able to paint them. Mirrors, not original, but I really like it. Let me know what you guys prefer in the comments. Like I said, this is quite a debate. If I was to give you a Z1 900, would you like it finely restored, or would you like it maybe scuffed up a little dirty, but original? Well, I'm pleased to be joined with my man Nori from California. Nori, thank you so much for showing us your motorcycles. I know you come here year after year. You're pretty famous for these restorations. How much work is it to get the motorcycle to look like this?
At least, each bike takes about like 60, 70 hours.
That's pretty quick, actually.
Some of it, we got hiccups, we get into a lot more hours. Yeah.
Perfect. Something we're talking about on my channel, we know a lot of guys out there like them original, right? I prefer the restored look just because I love them all shined out and polished out. What's your feeling on original versus going all the way with the restoration?
I mean, personally, I like the original bike, because original once. You can restore it many times. Original is once.
It's once.
Yeah.
But is there a point where it's just so far gone originally that, like with the pictures that we saw of this one, it was in terrible condition. Now it's eye candy. It's beautiful.
Right. That's kind of the fun part of the restore. It's being sat in somebody's garage for like 35 years. Bring it back to the life. And make it better than brand new.
Well, you do a great job. Thank you for showing us so much. Oh my, this one's special. I'm gonna have to send it to my dad. This is my dad's bike, 1976 Kawasaki KZ900. He had it as a street bike. It's now a drag bike. Like so many of you watching this channel, you probably got him converted to a small tire, 8-second bike. But back in the day, this was his machine, and he got it green. I think it was, I want to say $2,200 out the door, north of Versailles, Pennsylvania. And this is exactly how his looked. Original paint. Here's the modification a lot of guys would do. Once you got your pipe, you put the 4 individual air cleaners on it, jetted it a little bit differently. It was a common hop-up trick, much like we do to the Busas and the ZX14s today. I wonder, are we going to be pining for our air boxes and our pipes? I don't know. We don't have to worry about that on the new bikes because they're fuel injected. We're certainly nostalgic about the air box here. It's a gorgeous bike, all polished out. That's the way I like them. Really enjoy it. 1939 Indian Scout. Hasn't even been cleaned. It survived. 1977 Harley Davidson Cafe Racer. What do you think, gentlemen? You gonna buy it?
Thinking about it.
Now, what attracts you to this particular bike?
It's the only cafe racer that Harley made. The only one.
What do you think it would bring in?
I hate to say because I'm going to bid, but it's in excellent condition. It'll probably go in the upper 20s.
Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Excellent condition indeed, guys. All polished out. 1984 Harley Davidson Electra Glide. How about a 2000 Harley Davidson Springer Custom? Lots of chrome. Beautiful appearance. All right, we got the American Chopper. I gotta believe this is an homage to Easy Rider. I still haven't seen Easy Rider. Shame on me. I gotta watch it. I gotta get educated before my time. But this is actually a 2017 Captain America Chopper. And some of you talk about on this channel, what's a real chopper, what's not a real chopper. I think that this one unquestionably, undeniably has to fall into the category of quote unquote real choppers by some of you hardcore guys out there that used to ride them like this. Truly amazing, but this one is a resto rod, like I said. It's pretty. 1916 Thor U model. Guys, here's another one in this present condition, in this state, could bring in about $200,000. It is unrestored, and here's the key. The engine runs. I don't know if they're gonna be able to test that out. I don't know if that comes with a guarantee. I don't know how they work out those details, but on the tag, it clearly states the engine runs. Another motorcycle still in the crate. This is the 2014 Honda CBR 1000 RRSP. Somebody wisely kept it in the crate to preserve it. That's got to be hard, though. I mean, just looking at this bike, I want to take it out and twist the throttle. To keep it in the crate, that's impressive. And it's not just motorcycles, we've even got a few bicycles here. They're becoming collectible as well. Well, here's another one I'd really love to own someday. I think I could say that with just about every bike. This is the legendary Water Buffalo. The Suzuki two-stroke 750cc water-cooled machine, 1972 GT750, guys. It has the double-sided twin leading shoe front drum brake. It was quite the motorcycle in its day. Here's one that helped take the drag racing world by storm. 1983 Suzuki GS 1100 ES. They do not have the airbox on, but it actually says in the tag they kept the airbox, so kudos to that owner. It's got the Super Trap exhaust system. These things sounded great. Love the old school Suzuki GS. And look for the GS to be the next ultra collectible bike. I can tell you this, on the drag racing side, I've done stories about how drag racers are looking into the GSX 1400 conversion because we're running out of cases for the GS. They've all been blown up by pro mod bikes and pro stock motorcycles. If you got a set of cases, hang on to them. Another 1969 Honda Z50. 1971 Honda CB750, the legendary 4, being sold here for no reserve. And this is 1 year earlier. This is the 1970 Honda CB750. It's got a comprehensive engine rebuild. Carburetors have been rebuilt as well in fine running condition, polished out, chrome's in good condition. It's pretty. And the motorcycles are just seemingly endless. You really got to pace yourself if you take in this whole event. Yeah, if you've met me in person and we've talked about classic motorcycles, I've probably mentioned this to you. I came to my first Mecum 4 years ago, and I recommend it to everybody. I say, look, if you love classic vintage motorcycles, this is the show to hit. Las Vegas, Nevada, it's a ton of fun. Who remembers this beast? 1980 Honda CBX. Not 4 cylinders, guys, but count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 into 2 exhaust. There's a good trivia question for you. Did Crocker ever make a 6 into 2? Yes, they did. And they did it for this beefy Honda CBX. Now, you historians out there will have to let me know, why did this motorcycle never catch on? A 6-cylinder, was it just too much, too excessive for 2 wheels? I don't know. Now, it will be interesting to see what this goes for. It is a Gen 1 Hayabusa, but not nearly as pristine as the one we saw earlier. As you can tell, it's got quite a few miles on it. The exhaust has been taken off. It's got a Yosh pipe on it. It has the original paint, and that's what's really going to make it collectible. But other than that, just a bike that we see out at a Saturday night bracket race. There's just certain liveries that are going to command a lot of money, and I think for Suzuki Hayabusa fans, this is it. For the Z1 900, it's that root beer and orange paint. This is the first year for the Hayabusa, so this will always be a classic and valuable and collectible paint scheme. 2008 Honda CBR 600RR by Jake Zemke. This is the one that won AMA Formula Extreme Championship, and it is still in the same exact condition that he rode it to a title on. We'll see what this thing goes for. Pretty cool. Right next to it, a 1980 Harley Davidson XR 750 flat tracker. Who remembers these Mecos? My goodness, boy, what a unique kickstand too. They really leaned over, scared me there for a second. It's a 1972 Mecum 250. This one a 1971 Mecum 250. Way back here, guys, 1902 Norton 198 cc's. My goodness, fine restoration, beautiful bike. Whoa, and what did I say about those old bikes in crates? We saw one from 1990. How about one from 1970? Yes, still in the crate. Look at this, guys. 1970 MZ ETS 250 in the crate. What is this going to go for? I can't even imagine the dollar value. We're going to find out, though. Pretty impressive. All right, another drag bike, and what I love about Cycledrag Universe is we're also connected, we're also intertwined. We're going to find out who the rider of this bike was. I know a friend of a friend's gonna see it. Check it out. 2004 Harley Davidson Sportster drag bike. We're told this one did compete in the AHDRA, so HDRA racers, fans, friends, let me know. Who was the pilot of this machine? We'll see if there's any type of numbers on the wheelie bars. No number, but a 1035 Dallin. Any other identifiable marks? Maybe not, guys. But beautiful machine nonetheless. Be interesting to see what drag bikes bring in here at the Mecum auction. Not necessarily the type of crowd, the most desirable bikes for this market, but you never know who's bidding online. Very patriotic here, 1977 Harley Davidson FXE, red, white, and blue. 1954 Nimbus 4. Danish motorcycle. Don't know a whole lot about these, but seeing an awful lot this year at Mecum. This one being sold with no reserve. Well, it's not all about the GS 1100, much like the KZ 650s are becoming more collectible. The GS 750 ES are becoming more desirable as well. This one a 1983 GS. Completely stock, unrestored. 2004 Honda CB50 Racer. Alongside it, there is the CB 1100F, a very classic livery and paint scheme. 1983, 1100 cc's. Boy, this one is clean. Would love to have one of these. I told you I'd say that quite a few times here during this broadcast. I'm sure you're saying the same thing wherever you are watching from. Well, I got good news and bad news. The bad news is I cannot believe I have made it this far through this auction, this far through this video without finding you a Kawasaki H2 750. The good news is I have found one, but what does this mean? An off year, a down year for Mecum, or are they drying up? I'm telling you, I was here 4 years ago and there were probably 6 or 7 of them. This is the only one that I've seen. Let's go check it out. No reserve, original paint. I'll tell you, and this one, I don't want to be trite, I don't want to overuse expressions, but I promise you, if you told me there's one classic motorcycle on my bucket list, this is it. I've already got my KZ, so I've satisfied that craving. I want one of these. I've let it be known. I love them. We were able to check out the one at Barber Motorsports Museum that Dave Schultz rode in pro stock. We still see a lot of these on the racetrack, on the drag strip in the Super Eliminator category. They were really something special. You know, Kawasaki, in its attempt to one-up Suzuki, Honda, and Yamaha, was quite successful in the 70s with the H2, the Widowmaker. These things would throw an inexperienced rider right off the back. The nasal sensation, the ear sensation. It's a piece of history. If you've ever smelt one, if you've ever heard one, if you've ever ridden one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I wish I could fire it up for you right now. Some more two-strokes over here. GT 750 Water Buffalo, Yamaha RD 350, and a whole selection of Harleys. This will take you back to your childhood days. Remember how bad we wanted one of these? Well, kids will never stop being kids, and even the big kids still want them right now. Don't call it a can of tuna. The katanas were fast. This was an attempt by Suzuki to become really futuristic in its styling. Went over well. They sold a lot of these bikes, still very popular today. The Katana, this one's in 1982. Remember how I told you earlier about how everything was going squarish in the mid-80s? This is the bike I was talking about, the GSXR 750. Look at how square that tail section is. That's what was cool back then. That's what was in vogue. Watch, we'll see the retro bikes come back at some point. This one, a 1986 Suzuki GSXR 750G, no reserve. 1979 Kawasaki KZ 750, unrestored. It is a survivor. Beautiful motorcycle. Like I said, here we get into our polishing debate. Do you polish it out? Do you leave it alone? This particular collector decided to leave it alone. The Cannondale dirt bike, the Bultaco over here, the Indian. Motorcycles just never end here in Vegas. It's got an estimated value of $70,000. This is a 1909 Indian twin, 5 horsepower, strapped down, unrestored. You know it's old when there's no sight of a front tire and the wheels cracking away. Think about that, guys. Over 100 years old. It's amazing. It's amazing it looks as good as it does. We'll see what it brings in. Could hit the $80,000 mark or more. 1912 Harley Davidson twin. Here we have the 1966 BSA Spitfire. Look at this machine. I don't even know what this is at first glance. This is a 1941 Ariel Square 4. Big market for the Honda Monkeys. Look at this one, limited edition, gold plated. This one is beautiful. It's from the year 1984. Ooh, and I did say we're gonna get rare. Take a look at this paint, guys. This is 1974 Honda CL450 Flying Dragon. It is the rare collectible Honda factory Flying Dragon paint. At first glance, from afar, I thought that maybe this was a wrap. Maybe this was custom. No, this is factory paint. Who knows anything about the Flying Dragon factory paint? Honda says this was in response to America's obsession with everything psychedelic back in the 70s. That's where this special project came from. This one's in absolutely gorgeous condition. 1926 Indian Prince. It's right next to a 1937 Harley Davidson UH80. All right, we've got a story for you. Sir, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi there, my name's Ed. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've got today with me this G14 1938 BSA.
Now, this is awesome. You're telling me Mecum's been in business since 2005-ish, and they're saying they've never sold one of these.
This model has never been offered by Mecum's.
How did you end up?
It was offered by Mid-America. I'm forgetting now. But the last confirmed sale of this was in Australia in 2015. And they got 30,000 Australian money for it.
Truly amazing. How'd you end up with this bike?
This bike I got off of a fellow collector. It was shown in Dixon, and I fell in love with it. I had to have it. I did very little to this bike. It was found in an abandoned chicken coop in Northern California, most likely just before the fires ravaged the northern part of the state. So it was found there, and he picked it up and owned it for about a year. And he collects a lot of bikes. He just cycles them through in and out. He's a great guy. He slings them all the time. And when I saw it, I made a point of trying to get it from him.
Very cool. What are you hoping it brings in?
Well, it's estimated between 30 and 45.
Okay.
And I was quite surprised at that. The last confirmed sale, as I mentioned, 30,000 in Australian money, equated to 20,000 in US dollars at the time. But that machine was missing an awful lot. It was missing the carrier, the toolbox, the entire exhaust system, the seat cover was missing, the control blades were missing. This bike is one of the most original pre-war bikes I've ever seen. So I've really had the pleasure of fooling around with this thing a little bit. I want to point out some of its features, if I may. A little button right here that when you squeeze this brake and you apply the button, it'll hold it in place for you. There it is, until you release it again. And what that was for is you can keep the engine running with the sidecar on it. It won't roll down the hill. You can keep it in neutral and still have it running. You got your suicide shifters, a 4-speed on the side of the tank. Everything on it is as original as it gets. Now, a lot of these British bikes have Lysette seats. This has what they call a Terry seat. There's a brass tag way underneath here. And I've never even seen a Terry seat until I bought this bike and learned a little bit more about it. The toolboxes are reproductions, but this is what these bikes came with, this fancy little toolbox. Looks like that. Reproduction battery case with a new battery in it. We've also rewired this bike with the authentic cloth wiring. And other than that, it's the only thing that's been touched on it. It charges and everything works on it.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for showing us. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Hard to believe
Thank
it was
you.
left in a chicken coop. Now it's a $45,000 diamond.
We saved it. I hope it goes to a good home, and maybe we'll see it again in a museum or a big collection someday. Thanks a lot. Nice talking to you.
You too. A little more modern here, the 2003 Honda RC51. One heck of a super bike. Well, I really have seen it all now. The ice cream man. Some of you watching this video may have bought ice cream off of this gentleman, 1950 Cushman ice cream mobile.
Very nice.
It is a 1950 Series 50 ice cream truck, 4 horsepower. That's all you needed to tow around the ice cream sandwiches and the popsicles, and heck, 5 cents. How can you argue with that price? How cool is this? It was a rolling business back in the day. We got a 1971 Norton Commando 750. As you can tell, all the very astute buyers taking a good look. Sir, what are you looking for down there?
Well, see how authentic it is and where it came from. It's supposed to have a 3-fin caliper on the front and a Dunlop rims. This is not a Dunlop rim. This was custom built out of the factory, sent over here for racing. And one of the old timers that's listed on here, I happen to know him as he was racing it, Jody Nichols, hell of a racer.
Okay.
But I think this is original bike.
And what's your name, sir?
Tim Graber.
Where are you from?
Southern California, classic motorcycle consignments.
There you go. Well, good luck on this one. Yeah. Good luck. He says he's too old to get down like this, but we get down for motorcycles, don't we? The point I wanted to make by interviewing that gentleman is you're not going to be able to pull the wool over anybody's eyes here. It's not like a private sale going down on Marketplace or Craigslist. These are some very astute and accomplished buyers with trained eyes that know exactly what they're looking for. All for the love. You digging the paint? Yes or no? Custom 1994 Harley Davidson. 2001 Harley Davidson 124 cubic inch touring machine. What do we have going on down here? Yeah, we're making some power, that's for sure. Guys, there's a first for everything. This is the first time I've ever seen a 1992 CZ 125 MX bike. Never heard of CZ. I've never seen a CZ. You guys will have to fill me in. Very, very rare. It's certainly not easy to compete with the big four. KTM has found a way to do it throughout time, but CZ was not able to. Look at this old school machine. Westlake Speedway 500. Truly old school in every way. All right, we have shown our fair share of bikes in the crate. How about a 1973 still in the crate? It is a 1973 CZ still in the crate. This is estimated to be worth about $20,000. As you can tell, untouched. They're not even cleaning the dust off. They're keeping it all original. Look at the wooden crate too. We've come a long way in our shipping design over the years. All right, drag bike racers, you know the drill. Help me out. Who rode this? 1973 Harley-Davidson drag bike. It is the Dragon's Breath edition. Ironhead Sportster based. It's got the Pro Shift, the bikini fairing, the wheelie bars, disc brakes. Clearly has not gone down the track in several years. Looks like it may have sat outside based on the rust on this motorcycle. Paint's still in great shape. The chain is not. R101. Let's see what we have on the back. Texas. Perhaps this is a clue. Help me out, guys, if you know anything. Front fairing not attached. I'm surprised that they wouldn't attach it for the auction, but again, all these motorcycles have a story. Some of them come from owners that aren't mechanical at this juncture. They just want to get rid of them and see what they're worth. But I know a lot of you watching this would probably be happy to attach that fairing and clean some of the rust off of this thing. All right, guys, this one reminds me a lot of a motorcycle that I just restored that I had mentioned. This is 1976 Kawasaki KZ900, but take a look. This one is a resto rod. It's got the Corbin Gunfighter seat. Very cool. Certainly takes away from the original look, but gives it a stealthy drag bike look. It's got the Vance and Hines 4-in-1 exhaust. It has been torn all the way down to the frame for a resto. That was several years ago, and it's seen some road miles since then, but a pretty cool motorcycle. It's suffering from some pitting here and there, normal things KZ owners will gripe about. Not the correct brake reservoir up top, but still a pretty cool bike all in all. It is a resto rod KZ. Great selection of classic dirt bikes too. The nice thing about these dirt bikes, they're a little easier to restore. I mean, if you're a hardcore rider, you know that we tear them down just about every year anyways if you're doing your maintenance, and that's what's been done to a lot of them. Very rare to find one that's original. 2004 custom chopper. Absolutely no reserve on this machine. Got the Ducati, the Harley 750, and I think we still have some gems coming up. If you're still watching to this point, let me know. If you are, really appreciate you watching to the end of these videos. Thanks so much, guys. I promise you it will be worth it. If you're a NASCAR fan, we got something cool coming up, that's for sure. Here's 1983 Suzuki RM250. There's the 1981. Okay, so earlier when I said about 82 being the first year for monoshock and water cooling, looks like I was right, because here's an 81. And that's gonna make this very collectible. Anytime it's the first or last year for something, makes it highly desirable. We got the dual shocks, we got the air cooling. It is the 1981 RM125 being sold for no reserve. Oh, how I yearn for one of these. The 1999 Honda CR80. But did you look close enough? It may be a CR80 frame, but the engine is an XR75 punched out to 110. Another custom creation, something unique. It's pretty cool, definitely a conversation piece. Not sure how much value it will retain. Sometimes this hurts the value. Much like an autograph, a personalized autograph can sometimes hurt the value of a baseball card or a piece of memorabilia. 1929 Harley-Davidson Model D Hill Climber, right next to a 2009 custom paint Harley-Davidson V-Rod. I love these bikes. Why were these some of the most hated bikes by Harley loyalists? Yes, it was a departure from the norm, a departure from tradition, but man, they were cool. I think Harley should bring it back. It took us long enough, but we found another H2. This one, the classic purple people eater, the Grape Ape. Smoking Joe's got one. This one's clean and it looks original. Let's take a look. world famous Widowmaker, 12 seconds right out of the box in the year 1973. The candy purple paint, beautiful. This one, a fine survivor. Gorgeous motorcycle. As I said, definitely want to have one someday. It looks like this one does have some reproduction parts on it. That's to be expected, but it's beautiful. Very clean, still very fast. Occasionally, you see guys riding these on the street, and I love it. We've done a few videos when we've been fortunate enough to pop into a gas station or whatnot. And check this out. Here's something two-stroke guys will appreciate. What's on the floor? Looks like we got a little bit of leakage. That is to be expected with one of these motorcycles. It's still gorgeous and a piece of Kawasaki history. Long live the two-strokes. 1924 Indian Chief. Basket case?
Yeah.
Sure is. You thinking about placing a bid on it?
Yeah, I don't know.
So what do you do with a motorcycle in that condition? Do you attempt a restoration?
Yeah, spend about $50,000 to get it back in shape. Yeah, that's all it is.
That's about what it would cost, huh?
Yep.
It's about $50,000 away. All depends on what you want to do with it.
Remember, a lot of parts have to be made for it.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of parts have to be made because it's not like you just open the catalog, right?
Not on this one.
Thanks for your insight.
This will be a labor of love.
It certainly will. What's your name, sir?
I'm Dick Lee.
Where are you from?
Colorado.
Excellent. Good luck to you here this weekend.
Well, thank you.
Hey, and shout out to my man Chris Matheson. We just found out he did buy the RM500. It's headed to Oz. It's headed to Australia. Stay tuned. We'll make sure to give you an update on that, and maybe we'll have a story on how we helped Chris get that bike to Australia.
Sold 5,000. Sold $5,000 Laura Landis.
W209 to 1985 Kawasaki sale, no reserve.
No reserve here.
From the Stevenson collection.
15, 17 bid. And I'm going to be a 17. I'm going to be a 10. I'm going to be a 25 here. 2. I'm going to be a 25. Hitting 5 down. I'm going to be a 3. Going to be 3,000 bid. I'm going to be a 3 down 5 bid. Hitting 4 bid. I'm going to be a 4. I'm going to be a 35. Going to be a 4,000 under now. In 4. I'm going to be a 5, 45. I'm going to be about 545 here, I'm going to be about 4,500. Sold 4,000, sold $4,000 to the internet.
W210.
Check this out, guys. It is a Big John Streamliner. Comes with the trailer. It was raced on the Bonneville Salt Flats by Johnny Allen. It is expected to bring in about $50,000. Told you there's a lot of variety here. You never know what you're going to see. The question is, will somebody pay $50,000? Remember, it's not what it's worth. It's what somebody will pay for it. That's the true value. Check this out, guys. Now, I had mentioned about how the hardcore like to ride in a sidecar. How about a wicker sidecar? Would you do that? '26 Harley Davidson F-Twin with the sidecar. Beautiful motorcycle. All right, NASCAR fans, we promised you something special here on Cycledrag. Take a look behind me. Yes, this is the fearsome V8 Boss Haas. This, of course, the Tony Stewart edition dedicated to the legendary racer. Now, I want to know, would you even think about riding this, okay? We talk about the Hayabusa being a big bore machine. We talk about V-twins once they get up there to about 2,000 cc's being big. This one, how about 6,309 cc's on this crazy motorcycle? I think Tony Stewart may like it. It may be his style. His girlfriend knows a thing or two about horsepower. She drives a top fuel dragster, Leah Pruitt. This is amazing though, and it's for sale here at the Mecum Motorcycle auction. Well, we know Tony approves because the NASCAR legend has autographed it. It's amazing. Here's what's interesting about this bike. It's for sale. It's valued at about $60,000. Take a look at this amazing power plant. But here's something I find very interesting, guys. It's never been tagged, okay? So I don't know that anybody's had the intestinal fortitude to go out on this thing and really crack it wide open on the street. Maybe that will change as it now is for sale at the Las Vegas Mecum Motorcycle auction. Would you like to own this bike? Let me know. I was able to do some checking, found out a couple facts. It's not just any Boss Hoss. This is a highly modified, high-performance NASCAR-inspired V8. Also found out that the bike does have some miles on it. It has 238 miles. Boy, if this motorcycle could talk. 238, was that just enough for somebody to figure out that they never wanted to crack the throttle on this thing again? It's mainly lived its entire life in storage at a business, but now for sale in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Somebody's got to tag the great Tony Stewart and let him know that this bike is up for sale, because wouldn't it be appropriate if it ended up in Tony's collection? If Tony buys this thing, heck, or if Tony is willing to ride this thing, I will fly wherever this bike is and get a video of Tony cracking the throttle. I think that would be pretty cool when you talk about one of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time and a motorcycle this intimidating. That's my style. What do you think? Let's do it, guys. Let's send it over. Maybe Leah Pruitt can help make this happen for us. Maybe we can get this thing to an NHRA National. All right, now I just keep on pushing it. I got even a Kohler request. How about we get this thing to a drag race? Maybe Hogs Gone Wild, maybe HDRA, and we get it down the track. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe Tony Stewart would be willing to make a lap on it. What do you think, Tony? We know you got a whole lot of courage. We know you got the skill. We know your girlfriend likes going fast in a straight line. Can you handle this machine? Let's make it happen at Hogs Gone Wild. Love this 1935 Crocker, so cool. All right, so I see one man who's hoping to bring home the 73 Z1. What is your name, sir?
Bernie.
Nice to meet you, from LA. This bike really has caught your attention. What are you hoping to get it for?
I hope I get it between 12 and 15,000. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, are you an avid Z1 KZ guy?
I have a few, yeah.
They're getting harder to find, aren't
Very
they?
hard to find.
Now, what would you do? Would you restore it, or would you leave it as is?
This bike, it's not good enough to leave as it is for me. I would partly restore it.
Partly restore it?
Yeah, cosmetically restore it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in this.
Thanks a lot.
Now I gave my number away.
It's interesting though, the rear brake actuating lever.
And this is cool. We're seeing this a lot of secret spies here communicating via cell phone, because a lot of people couldn't be here. So a lot of people were bidding from afar. They send their trusted friends. They're making sure the numbers match. They're inspecting the motorcycles. Pretty cool. Hey guys, the auction just wrapped up. That is it for day one. I'll tell you, I really hope you guys have enjoyed this coverage. I know they're gonna have to kick me out because I may just bring a sleeping bag. It's this much fun. I hope all that carries through on the phone. I hope you got a little taste of being here.
This is the Indian design look.
Everything making sense over here, gentlemen?
Hey, how are you?
How are you? I heard somebody say not matching. Did we find something that didn't match?
Well, I don't know. Who are we talking to?
I don't know. We're talking to Cycledrag YouTube right here, ladies and gentlemen. Can't go just yet. Remember, we were talking about the Captain America replica. Here's the first Captain America replica. Belonged to Peter Fonda. It was built as a gift to Peter Fonda. And now somebody's going to own a piece of motorcycle history. Look at the bodywork on this Magna cycle. This reminds me a lot of a Top Fuel motorcycle that Larry Spider-Man McBride had. Pretty cool.
I think the guy probably has a reserve.
Interesting to see these from time to time at the Mecum auctions. This was the direct from the factory Harley drag bike, the V-Rod Destroyer, made in 2006. The VRX SE ended up here, not exactly sure. We'll see what it goes for. These bikes, again, you're talking about drag bikes, sometimes pennies on a dollar. All right, we are wrapping this thing up, and one of the lucky in-person buyers is my new friend here. What's your name, sir?
Dave.
Dave, where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles area.
Excellent. So what motorcycles did you buy today?
I bought one 94 BMW R1100 RS, a sport tourer.
Excellent. Were you happy with the price?
Very happy.
It seems like there were some good deals to be had today with a little bit of a lower turnout. What do you think?
Well, actually, some of the better bikes always bring good money. The people come out here and we all expect there's going to be fewer buyers, and we're all going to get deals. So those are the people who are in the seats today.
That's right.
And also some of the like junk bikes that need a lot of work went for more money than we expected too. The ones that need more of an ambitious restoration.
Well, you got a good one, so congratulations.
I got a great one. I plan to get some more too.
There you go.
Yeah.
My style.
Thanks.
Well, I am glad I came down to this road because there were some Kawasaki's hiding. Wait till you see this Z1B, another H2. Okay, that brings us up to 3. I'm happy with that. Not as many as we've seen in years past, but man, these things are amazing. This was worth the trip down this aisle. This is a 1975 Z1B, expected to bring in about $18,000. Powder-coated frame, hopped up, Dyna ignition, polished out, really clean. Dependable rider too. Check this out. It's got the Pingle petcock. I like it, just like mine. I don't know who this owner is, but this is really my style. And then next to that, we have the Kawasaki H2. This one, a bit of a resto rod as well. As you can see, it's got some modifications, the air cleaners next to the carburetor. This one expected to bring in about $22,000. It's gorgeous. So much of this bike is original. We got some powder coat, we got some paint, we got some polish, but it's still a true piece of history. 76 KZ900 hiding over here with the Kirker exhaust. Many say the Kirker was the best sounding pipe on the Kawasaki KZs. You guys let me know what you think. I mean, heck, all KZs sound amazing, but I can't argue about the Kirker. My dad's got a Kirker on his LTD, and you can hear it coming a mile away. It sounds really, really good, guys. This is a 1976 Kawasaki KZ900. Anybody want some fresh fish? Well, this is how you got it in San Francisco in the year 1912. These motorcycles, very helpful, very useful. All right, sport bike fans, we're gonna take you right back to the 90s. This is the Northern California Superbike collection. I gotta give you a quick look down this road because it just screams 90s, California, performance. I'm thinking, I can't say Top Gun, that was 80s, 90210. Didn't somebody from that series ride one of these motorcycles? They're awesome, they're cool. Let's give you a quick look. We're gonna transport you right back to the mid-90s. So not the oldest bikes out there, but you can tell already collectible. That Honda, a 1986. So we do have some 80s. There's the 1986 GSXR 1100. Here's one of the classic Kawasaki's. I mean, that livery, it just stands out a mile away. That's the 1994, 1985 Honda over here. Oh, here we go. I wasn't wrong. I talked about Top Gun. Here you go, guys. 1984 Kawasaki ZX900A. This is the bike that Maverick preferred. So we are talking 80s. I was right there. 80s and 90s, not the oldest bikes in the world, but already collectible. They know there's gonna be a big market for this. They're deciding to sell them now. Look at the old school Kawasaki ZX7, that's 1989. Really remember this paint scheme when they went with a little bit of purple. That was 1995. The red and black Suzuki, gotta love that GSXR. So many classic sport bikes. This is out of the Northern California Superbike collection. What's your name, sir?
Christopher.
Where are you from?
From Florida.
Where at?
Orlando.
Oh, you traveled quite a ways. You loving this?
Yes, sir. I travel everywhere with Mecum.
Excellent, man. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you for coming.
Now, a lot of you may wonder, what are the experts and the graders looking for? Dave, where are you from?
Tempe, Arizona.
Excellent. Now, you tell me, you come out and you grade these bikes. What are you looking for?
Originality.
Okay.
100% original.
So go through some of your checklist here.
Well, certainly tires, the seat cover, the paint job. I mean, when you're looking for the stock bike, you know the difference of something that's a little shinier than it's supposed to be and something that's just like it was.
We were talking about that earlier. I mean, how rare is it to find a bike with original tires? Because everybody changes their tires.
Very
right?
hard, very hard. This bike right here.
Let's see what we got. Okay.
This is 67 360 Husky. They
Okay.
only imported a little less than about 25 of these bikes in the country. This one is pretty correct. Huskies at this time, though, didn't come with 21-inch wheels for American market because we were still riding in the desert. But you're looking at the tires. These are the actual brand new tires. These are impossible
That's
to
stock.
find.
Wow. So somebody barely rode this.
No, someone's located those tires
Somebody
and
located
paid big money when he found those
So
tires.
those aren't the tires that came on the bike.
No, but they would be the model
They would be
exactly
the
of what would come on the bike.
Tenfold.
So things like your grips, your cables with the factory oilers on them, so the gray cables with the factory oilers, they're all the right pieces on it. These are the right handlebars, the heavy beaded number plates. This brace is very unique to this year. It looks like other years, but it's a different length. The crimson colored tank is 1 year, 2 years of bike, 66 and 67. The angle fin head, this is a 2-year deal here too. The side covers are called rocket cases. They look like a rocket. It's a little husky. This is a see in the back. They were just taking a street bike and becoming a motocross bike, so they have an overlay sprocket. This part of the sprocket is actually the brake drum, and then they put the motocross side sprocket. You rarely see the word Husqvarna on this stuff. This is a very early bike. I would appraise that bike at $12,000 to $15,000.
Amazing.
I don't think the owner thinks it's worth that much, so I'm going to bid on it probably.
There's a Kawasaki KZ650 SR. Oh my, and what's this doing hiding all the way in the back? A 1939 Crocker twin boss. I mean, the value of this has got to be off the charts. Hiding here, way in the back. You never know where you're gonna find a classic bike here. So I want to clarify too, when that gentleman was telling me about stock tires, he's talking about the tires that came stock, not the actual tires from the stock motorcycle, because that's got to be really rare. That's almost the equivalent of having the bike in the box. That means that you've only ridden it X amount of miles, or I mean, you haven't ridden it much at all, because once those tires get 10, 15 years old, they're not going to be safe. But according to him, if it's the same tire that came on stock, reproduction counts. Good old Honda XL70. Did you guys know Harley Davidson made a mini bike? Did you know Indian made a mini bike? Yes, they did. It wasn't all Honda, but boy, it really became dominated by Honda, didn't it? It's a lot of work here by the staff. Like this hard-working gentleman. Thank you for your hard work. I know it's a lot, isn't it? Thank you. And what this gentleman from Mecum is doing is sometimes they get the motorcycles in late, so they need to make sure everything's verified, has a clean title, and that's the assurance you get when you buy a motorcycle here. It's going to be 100% clean, and you're going to leave with the title in your name. Really too much to see in a day. Just impossible. Another 73 Z1 900. This one has a minor restoration and also a mechanical restoration. It runs, it functions, it looks nice. Bravo. So Hayabusa fans, somebody better get a hold of a Gen 3 and leave it in the box. Told you we'd see a little bit of everything, that's for sure. Well, thanks so much, guys. We did it. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment down below. I want to know what was your favorite motorcycle and why. If you just found our channel, please check out all there is to see. If you like this video, here's another video for you. Hit subscribe right in the middle, notifications on, and you know if there's anything fast motorcycles involved, even two strokes, we're in. Cycledrag rolls on.